Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's question and answer session, where it's just going to be me answering questions for any of you guys out there who are looking to get some information on all things SEO. So, or digital marketing, business related, it really doesn't matter. If you've got a question, put it in the live chat, and I will happily answer as many of these questions as I possibly can. So let me know where you're from as well. Let me know if there's any problems you're having just now with your digital marketing campaigns, and this is the perfect place to get those questions answered. As I say, I get inundated with messages every day on social media, and I can't answer them all. So this is the perfect place for you to grab some of my time and get some of that stuff answered. So let me know who is there. Yes, Holly, early morning video today. I'm just doing a question and answer session for those guys who do my free training course and stuff. There's always questions, as I'm sure you get them as well, Holly. So yeah, just here to help these guys with any questions they do have. Eden Powell, thank you very much for coming along. So I'll start off with your question, Eden, while people are coming in. My question is, when you have a GMB with a totally different new keyword, what technique do you use? Example is locksmith when you are a current glazier. If you're a glazier, I would probably start afresh. Just start a fresh one. It's a lot easier to rank one that targets locksmiths, and keep your glazier one too, just in case you want to keep that for the future, or maybe you want to sell the leads on that or whatever. But I would potentially just start afresh on that, to be honest with you, and just go for a locksmith one and see what happens from there. Doing that and building citations and everything else, that's what you want to do, and you want to try and keep it very, very concise. So I would just make a fresh one. It's relatively easy to do, especially if you're in Barnsley, the capital of Yorkshire. You should be able to rank that fairly easily with a new one. I just think that Google will, be used to the other one being a Glazers, and I wouldn't really be wanting to tamper too much with that. I'm sure it can be done, but I would just start afresh and have another GMB. Holly is asking, did I hear of an update rolling out today last night? Obviously hear rumours and stuff like that, but I've not really seen too much in the way of movement just yet, Holly. Not sure if it's rolled out over here just yet. You know what it's like. Sometimes they release it over your way first, and then it comes over here later on in the week and stuff. But yeah, I've not seen anything yet, but hopefully it's not a bad one. Ian McDonnell, is there any point in building links to YouTube videos? I would embed my YouTube videos on other places, building links to them. I've never really built a link to a video. I think the YouTube algorithm's looking more for engagement and signals of that nature, and also embedding them all over the place. For example, this women's news network, embedding them in there is going to stand you in much better stead than building a link to the actual video. Some people do, they'll put their video through Money Robot or whatever, but I think embedding the videos and trying to focus more on getting that engagement is going to do a lot better for your video itself. So focus on that would be my advice. Some people, it's at 9 o'clock. Where in the world are you, Michael? 9 o'clock, I'm going to guess you're in Asia direction somewhere, which is a lovely part of the world. So yeah, let me know where you are. Eden Powell, question 2, do we have any other way to get GMBs further down? I know we can ask friends and family. So you can ask friends and family. There's also a guy called Peter Jones. If you search for him on Facebook, he can get you a verified GMB in whatever location you want. I'm not entirely sure of his method of what he does to get that, but it works very, very well. So you can just pay him to sort you out with that, and you can have an alternative address. But obviously it's cheaper to ask friends or family first and foremost if you can. So do look at that first, trying to keep your costs down. Paul Hogden, good to see you, man. Hope you're not too busy. Kazu Nakazawa. Hopefully I've not said that too wrong. Good to see you, mate. Southern China. Never been to China, but one day it is on my to-do list. I'd love to see China. Yeah, that's going to be there one day. I've got to try it out. Japan as well is another one. I've been to Thailand. I think Thailand's as far as I've been into that side of the world. Thailand was magnificent as well, so thoroughly enjoyed that. But China is definitely one I'd love to see for sure. Canada, any new GMB verification methods? Brent, at the moment, I think that the methods, there's a couple of methods that do work, but the goalposts are changing on them with GMBs. The methods are, as I'm sure you know, getting patched up very, very quickly. So at the moment, I wouldn't touch them because they're likely to just get whipped back down if you use that method. I'd just let things settle for a few weeks before exploiting whatever method actually sticks, and go for that. But at the moment, off the top of my head, no one's got a method. Well, there are people that have got methods, of course there is, but the advice from the real deal guys that are doing GMBs every day is just leave it alone just now. Just do not touch them, just until whatever they're doing is sorted out. Steve, I have actually been to Gozo off Malta when I was a young kid. I have been there. I went on a boat trip to Gozo for the day, jumped in the water, amazing blue waters. I have been to Malta several times as a kid as well. I used to always go to St. Julian's. Don't know why. My family quite enjoyed St. Julian's and used to go there a lot. Lovely place. And Malta is somewhere I'd love to come back to. I actually had a speaking gig arranged there for last year, and a company was going to take me out there and do a speaking gig, and obviously COVID hit, and I was looking forward to going back to Malta. And one day again, I'd love to come back to Malta. I've been there as a kid. The only downside that I didn't like about Malta and why I've probably never been back is I quite like sandy beaches, where it's like staying in Scotland. You need a bit of sun and sand, which we don't see often. And Malta used to have these rocky beaches, which was kind of, it's nice. It's nice in a way, but a great place. And I just wasn't too sure of the rocky beaches. But yeah, lovely place. And I know a lot of gambling affiliates and stuff that are based over there. And I'd love to get back there one day as well. So I will shoot you up for a beer if I ever do get the opportunity to come back out to Malta. Guys, keep your questions coming. Prepared to answer whatever questions you want. Try and make sure that your questions are not vague questions, very specific, because it's a question and answer session. So I want to try and get volume and go through as many as I possibly can. Whether it's just a bit of advice or whatever you want, put it in the live chat. If you are putting it in a live chat and I've not answered your question yet, make sure that you do come onto YouTube, because sometimes the stuff doesn't pull through from Facebook or other sources. But yeah, put your stuff in the live chat there. Camille, cheers. Do you still use Money Robot? If yes, do you use diagrams or something else? To some degree, I do use Money Robot. Mainly just to power up, PBNs and niche edits and stuff like that. And yes, I use the diagrams that are on there. But what I do like is another tool that's very similar, but it's better in my opinion, SEO Autopilot. They have some of their own diagrams, and I feel that SEO Pilot is just a much better version of Money Robot, and I use that more frequently, if I'm honest. I think Money Robot, the inventory is not updated all the time, and it is what it is. It does a good job for sending some power to things, but I just think SEO Autopilot just has a bit more flexibility. But yeah, Money Robot just for embedding videos and various other bits and bobs. Yeah, it's still got a purpose in today's market, but just not what it once did back, a few years back. So it's still there. I still like firing up. It's obviously, as you know, very easy to just fire out a campaign. But yeah, it's mainly just to power things up is what I'm using it for. So yeah, check out SEO Autopilot. They do have a great piece of kit there, and it's always been developed as well. So check that out. But guys, yeah, give me more questions. I want more. I'm going to be here for an hour, so give me as much as you can. Do not be scared to ask something in case you feel stupid. I do know a lot of you guys, in particular, have done my SEO course, are relatively new to the industry. Don't be scared. There's no such thing as a stupid question. And I think for sure you need to make sure that you get those questions answered. So that's what I'm here for today. So ask away, guys. Steve, ad revenues crept up consistently to record levels last year. January and February seem to have maintained December levels. How do you see the remainder of 2021 going? It's a hard one. For me, I've not really seen too much of an impact. I know a lot of people seen from that December update, they seen a fairly significant dip in rankings. So if you're doing well and you've got record levels and you're maintaining that, you are doing a grand job. And hopefully you can retain that stability. I'm hoping that when the next update comes out, that we see some kind of reverse kind of thing going on, because I think a lot of people were hit by that December update, and hopefully they tweak it so that things do get a little bit better. And hopefully that allows us to progress. I see if you're doing the right things, hopefully records continue to be beaten, but I think it's just about trying to beat. Hopefully it remains a bit more consistent. I think there was a couple of updates last year, and a couple of things that went on, including like Amazon and stuff cutting their commissions, and last year was a bit up and down for quite a lot of people. I just hope there's a bit more stability this year. I think with COVID and everything else, people seem to do a bit better online, depending on what you were doing. Of course, the travel industry and stuff's been hit fairly badly, but I think for a lot of other people, a lot more people are buying online, and they've seen massive increases in their stuff, and hopefully that remains to be seen, or remains to be the case, because I think obviously having suffered from these COVID situations, I think more and more businesses are realizing that online marketing in general, not just SEO, but online marketing is so important, and more people are swaying towards online. So hopefully us as digital marketers can capitalize on that and just keep things going. It's a pain though, just with all the changes and everything that Google do, trying to retain clients or trying to retain your revenue can be a bit extreme sometimes with some of the volatility that goes on. But hopefully we have an easier year this year and see what happens. But I don't see too much more happening. Hopefully things start to level off now, and no crazy big updates. I think that December one really knocked a lot of people for six. I think that was quite a big update, but hopefully there's more positive news this year. For me personally, I'm trying to broaden my approach to marketing. I don't want to just fully focus on SEO. I'm trying to play around with a lot of other channels, trying to drive traffic from other sources, YouTube and everything. And I think that's a sensible thing to do, is just make sure your traffic just comes from multiple different sources as well. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. Anyway, Ian McDonald, what methods have you found to be most effective with YouTube so far? The thing is, Ian, with YouTube, it's fairly simple and straightforward to a degree. Obviously, I use something called vidIQ to just get tags and stuff like that. Obviously, you read a lot of people saying, do this, do that, do that, fill out the title of the video, the description, use a few hashtags and all that kind of stuff. And of course, that makes a lot of sense, but there are other things that guys are doing on YouTube that no one's going to share publicly. I just don't want to release it because it's working relatively well for me, but there's only so much you can do in terms of putting your YouTube video out there and, using some hashtags in the description, using tags and everything else, using your end screens, making sure you're doing all of that kind of stuff because you want to keep people on your channel rather than just going to another channel. I'm finding YouTube ads work relatively well, just appearing on other digital marketers' channels. I do use my mailing list, push notifications, social media organically, and everything else to try and drive engagement to it. But there are a couple of other little things that I don't want to share on a video to people, purely because if I do, everyone will use it and it will no longer work. But there's a couple of things that you will kick yourself when you hear, if you do hear them. As I say, I don't want to be smashed for it or whatever, people watching my channel and, somehow I end up getting slapped for it. So there are a couple of wee niggly little tricks that work really well. And I don't mean using micro workers or anything else. It's all on page within the video type stuff. One thing, I'll give you one little tip that I didn't do that I found out. Now, there's about 3 or 4 little things that you need to know to have it perfect. But here is the thing that no one really does when they're uploading videos. So you record your YouTube video, right? Then you just simply upload it to YouTube, put the title, description, some tags, blah, 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 blah. Now, before you upload to YouTube, are you right-clicking on that video and going to properties and actually tagging up the video? Because I wasn't. And when I heard someone saying that, I'm like, fuck, why did I not do that? So you can also tag up your video with a title and a subtitle and stuff like that by just simply right-clicking on the video while it's in your desktop or whatever, and make sure you tag that up effectively. But there are a couple of other sneaky things, and when someone told me those sneaky things, I was kicking myself, but they do work really well. So, as I say, that's as much I can help you. CTR engagement, though, is one of the biggest things. Trying to force that, use micro workers, do whatever, paid ads, paid Facebook ads, paid Quora ads, all of that stuff helps massively as well with that. But as I say, a couple of underlying little things that I've been playing around with, and I've got some decent results from it. So sorry I can't share them with you. I was sworn to secrecy by the guy who told me not to release them publicly, and I don't want him. I need to keep in his good books, so that if there is any other things, then I will continue to get told them. But yeah, there are something that you're probably missing out on, or I certainly was, but you might know of it, I'm not sure. Michael Archer, do you think there is a value in a WooCommerce site with limited products to a blog post just to give keyword juice to the product pages, which are very similar, just variations of models? I think, Michael, with that, you run into potential cannibalization issues if it's just variations of the models. If it's unique enough and you can get those variations indexed, then yes, but you have to weigh up whether you could do one blog post that capture 5 variations rather than 5 blog posts catching individual variations. That's the way you need to use probably a topical clustering tool like keywordcupid.com to see how Google view that content. You know, if Google see it's a separate page, or could it just be, you know, a subheading on a page that's going to allow you to rank for that, then, you know, that's what you need to weigh up against, because obviously you don't want multiple pages competing for the same search terms, which are very similar. So it's a sticky one that I think you just have to try a few. If they are getting indexed and it's working well for you, then do it more. But I would try and not add just blog posts for the sheer hell of it. If you can catch a number of different variations with one page or one post, then that's the best way to attack that. So hopefully that helps you, Michael. Guys, keep your questions coming. Do also make sure you do give us a little like and subscribe on the channel. There is 40 minutes left to ask whatever the hell you guys want, so please do. Next question, William McConnell. Hi, Craig. I run a small marketing agency. I've managed to save 1K. Would you recommend buying something off Flipper or invest in software affiliate build from scratch and ranking timeframe? So, William, Flipper, you need to be very, very careful, because there's a lot of charlatans on Flipper selling stuff that has false metrics and, you know, false monetization. There are some golden gems in there. You can also look at a Facebook group called Flipping Websites. There's a lot of low-end websites where someone's just put up a template, put on some articles, and then maybe just not had enough time. So you can pick up websites there, you know, relatively cheap. You can also start from scratch. But starting from scratch, you're going, you know, what I'm liking about buying something that's already there is potentially it's got a bit of history, you know, it's got maybe a handful of backlinks and stuff like that, so that you can basically just go on and do your own page, build some more backlinks, and, you know, it continues to grow. So I think giving yourself a head start and buying something from the likes of Flipper, Flipping Websites, or whatever is good. Just do your due diligence properly. Nothing at all wrong with starting from scratch. But, you know, what you're buying for that grand is someone, you know, the content and the website and the age. And, you know, a grand's not going to get you far in the grand scheme of things. You know, if you can get someone who's just desperate for that grand and potentially giving you £2,000 worth of content and links, then you've got yourself a good deal. So that's the way I'd be angling it. But as I say, you can go in and start from scratch and just invest in content in a website or whatever. Or you can go and try and get a good auction domain, something for $100, $200 or whatever. You might get something that packs a decent punch in terms of backlinks. So that's something you can do. Or, as Michael Archer says, invest in a new site from Holly that has long-term potential. Now, I didn't know Holly was actually selling websites, but Holly, if you're selling websites, check out Holly's stuff. Holly is also saying the Flipping Websites Facebook group is really good. You can find some great golden gems in there. Ask around as well. Just, you know, put it out there that you're looking for something and make people come and approach you with you know, the bargains that are out there. There's some people are just desperate for money now, and you know, take advantage of that situation. So hopefully you find something there, William. Ryan Durrani, hey man, the hair looks good. Yeah, I got it cut, mate, last week, so it's not as much of a mop as it once was. Nice professional fade in and all that stuff as well. So all good. Is Scrapebox a worthwhile investment for link building and prospecting? I wouldn't personally use Scrapebox for link building as such. It could form part of the link building process for sure, scraping stuff and grabbing emails and prospecting. So it's great from that point of view. I certainly wouldn't be using it just for link building, but I think it's $97 one-off fee. I still use it on a regular basis, just to scrape stuff. And I think, you know, many of us, even the likes of Holly Starks and stuff, you know, use Scrapebox for a whole bunch of different reasons. So, yeah, I would definitely invest in Scrapebox. I think it just saves a lot of time and effort, and prospecting and stuff. You can still get Scrapebox to fill out contact forms and stuff as well, so you can still mass spam with it really as well. So yeah, it does a great job. And also, Michael Archer meant a news website from Holly, not a new website. So you can invest in a news website, whatever. But yeah, check out Holly anyway. She's always worth checking out and seeing what she's got available. Getting a wee haul on it. Yeah, get haul on Scrapebox. It's a pain in the arse to fire up, but yeah, does a grand job, lads. Jude McLean, you mentioned before that some black hat SEO techniques are still working, cloaking and so on. Listen, Jude, Holly's all about black and grey hat, and she demonstrates that a lot of this stuff still works very, very, very well. In terms of cloaking and stuff, I tend to stay away from cloaking as such. Now, people can get away with it and stuff like that, but I think the way I see black hat is probably not the cloaking side of things. It's just pushing the boundaries in terms of what you can do, like Holly with her news websites or her 100 phones, or all the YouTube stuff she's done over the years on a massive scale. That, of course, is black hat, and that, of course, has made her a lot of money. For me, I am not as crazy as Holly, and Holly will admit that some of that stuff blows up in your face when you're doing all that kind of stuff. And I try and get the balance of not having something blown up in my face and try and work for the longer term. So in terms of black hat, I try and do certain things like I will steal some content, regurgitate content, spin it all up. I use automation where I can. I do black hat link building, tiered link building. I use PBNs. I use 301 redirects. I do all of that kind of stuff. I'm not that fussed. I'll utilize these things to get leverage in terms of ranking well. But so there's loads of black hat techniques that work, and it really also comes down to your moral compass in terms of how black hat you really want to go. I know friends who set up fake charities to get links and all this kind of stuff, and I know people who there's just so many different things. I don't want to say too much about what they do because you never know who's watching this. But cloaking is something I would steer clear of, to be perfectly honest, because it's just a time bomb waiting to happen. And when you get caught, you're fucked and you can lose a lot of money on cloaking. So I think all of the other stuff, like what Holly's doing, the phone thing, manipulating GMBs, the news stuff that Holly's doing, all of that kind of stuff is still what I would term black hat, but it's kind of got a future. There's money to be made and no real signs of that dipping at any time in the near future. So lots of black hat things work. It just depends, as I say, on how black hat you really want to go. Do you want to go and steal someone else's GMB? These things can be done, and I've spoken about these things, stealing people's GMBs. I really just don't feel comfortable stealing another man's business right off of his plate whilst he doesn't know it. There's certain things that I wouldn't do, but unscrupulous people out there just don't give a shit. So there are so many things that you can do in this game, and it's funny. Listen, I love being as bad as the next guy. There's just certain things that I don't think are right, but there's a lot of stuff. A lot of black hat stuff works very, very well, and it just depends on what you call black hat and what you need. Is it black hat link building? Is it cloaking? You can still cloak Bing ads if you want to bid in someone's brand, like a hotel name or whatever. You can cloak that stuff and make yourself a fuck ton of money by just bidding on the hotel's brand and cloaking the link so that it looks like it came from your affiliate website, and basically just double your money or treble your money on Bing ads. But there's certain things like that that just don't work in Google anymore because Google have become a little bit cleverer. But there's just so many loopholes out there that it really depends on what you want to do. Is it GMB black stuff, black hat stuff that you want to do or whatever. So literally, you know, some of the guys out there just literally claim unverified GMBs on a daily basis and just make a fuck ton of money on lead gen. So yeah, so many different things you can do there. No problem at all, William. Jude McLean, do you have any experience using paid traffic with affiliate offers? Any tips? Yes, I do. And I also recently spoke at a conference, I think it was called Traffic Summit out in America, where all of these guys basically use paid. So as an SEO, I'm in the SEO community, and everyone obsesses over affiliate marketing, and quite rightly so. But these guys don't have a clue what SEO is. They only use paid to you know, to their affiliate websites to make money. Now, of course, you know, if you're spending X amount on Google ads or whatever it might be, as long as you're getting a return on investment, who cares? But for me, the tips that I would also be looking for would really be doubling down on you know, paid link placements on websites, you know, banner ads, quote ads, and any other traffic sources that don't cost as much as PPC, Google PPC or AdWords or whatever you want to call it. So I'd be looking to utilize all of that stuff and drive them to your affiliate websites if you want to use paid traffic. Even paid Facebook ads you can get a return on investment on, and do really well as long as you're doing it properly and you've got lookalike audiences and everything else. You can really make a lot of money on affiliate by just sending traffic. You know, traffic's traffic, and as long as it's the right type of traffic, you should be able to capitalize and monetize that. So try and look for everything you can and test a lot of stuff out. I do YouTube ads. I've done LinkedIn ads. I've done Twitter ads. I'm even trying TikTok ads just now. I can't really tell you if I'm going to get a lot from TikTok ads because I don't think my audience is great on there, but I'm also playing around with that. So it's just about trying and testing them as well. But I'm looking for anything that doesn't cost me as much as Google. And I found a lot with core ads. Core ads is an untapped market to some degree. You can get stuff for like a penny a click, and it's real people looking for your stuff. So why not have a look at that stuff? So hopefully that helps. Jim Buzz, any advice for keyword research in niche languages? Client wants to enter Czech market for a service that has done well in the UK, France and Spain, but keyword data seems very poor. I mean, the thing you've got with the Czech market and various other markets, and I'm not going to use the Czech market as an example, I'll use the Polish one, which is not too far away. Now, the data that comes up on your standard tools out there, keyword data, you know, from the likes of SEMrush, Ahrefs, or whatever, is not great. But a lot of these countries, like Poland, has a keyword research tool called Synuto. Now, I'm not sure if Synuto will cover the Czech market. It certainly does the Polish market, and the data in there in terms of what is shared on the standard Ahrefs and SEMrush is night and day. So what I would probably potentially do there, Jim, is look to see if there is a keyword research tool in the Czech Republic that are using real data from that country. Because I know Poland have, and I know various other countries have their own specific tools. So Synuto is like the SEMrush of Poland, if you like. It does a very similar job, but the data is all proper Polish data, and that's why everyone in Poland will use Synuto rather than SEMrush or Ahrefs, just because certain countries just don't have the data there on these tools. You know, they're mainly focused in a lot bigger countries than the likes of the Czech market. So I would be advising you to have a look and see if there is something out there in the Czech market. I'm not sure if there is. I've not operated in the Czech market before, but there very well could be. So hopefully that gives you something to look for anyway. But sorry, I couldn't help any further. Lisa Gravesy. Oi, oi, GMB, best place for hints, tips, and where to gen up. My YouTube channel. We speak about it every week with Brad and Mike and Chris Palmer, the shows with Chris. These guys are all big into GMB stuff. So you can have a look at, we've got hours and hours and hours and hours and hours worth of content talking about GMBs, how to manipulate that stuff very easily, sending, you know, traffic and links to the CID URL, how to, you know, even on there, how to hijack an unverified listing. I've got all of that stuff on the playlist on the local SEO section on my YouTube channel. So there's a whole bunch of stuff from doing it white hat to stealing someone's listing. So there's a wealth of information on there. And also, if you look at the shows with Chris Palmer, Mike Pierce, the ones that are tagged up with local stuff, we have went into a lot of detail that not many others talk about. So those are probably the best sources. And I think, I'm not sure if we spoke about it with Holly as well, but I've had Holly on before. And I can't remember if we actually spoke about GMB stuff or not, but yeah, check that stuff out. There certainly has been a lot of GMB chit chat on the channel. A lot of people say they've got the method and don't. I think Brad and Mike, as far as I'm concerned, are the ones that have done the GMB thing on a massive scale. So you can check out their kind of nfgmonthly.com, stuff like that. You know, that is the big thing for Brad and Mike, is out in America, they have literally obliterated that GMB thing. And I'm sure there's other guys that have done it as well. But, you know, from me talking to people and on my channel and hearing these guys talk, I think Brad and Mike have probably done it to a reasonable scale. So check all that content out, Lisa. Hopefully that helps you. Holly Starks, do you have a link? Check out Boss TDS if you want to mess with cloaking. It's pretty easy to set up. So whoever was asking about the cloaking thing, check out Boss TDS, as Holly Stark says. That is pretty easy to set up. That is probably a very good shout. I've not checked Boss TDS. I've just taken a note of it, and I will check it out. The thing with cloaking is I had a script for cloaking. It's a pain in the ass to implement. So for some people out there, you might be better with something like Boss TDS if it's easier to set up. Takwir Ahmed, how to rank a website in just 2 months for event blogging. Now, I'm not saying you can't rank within 2 months, but just from the get-go, that realistic expectation is not there. You know, by the time you set up your website and do all your stuff and you know, start blogging about events, you know, just adding the content alone is probably going to take you longer than 2 months to write it. So I think you have to be a bit more realistic unless you're going to work night and day on it. But SEO is SEO. Blogging is blogging. The same methods apply. You just got to build links, do content, do good on page, have a fast loading website, blah, 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 blah. So it's too wide a question for me to go in and out the details of that. But there's a ton of stuff on the channel that you can start with, you know, building citations, building links, getting your content, getting the right content strategy, you know, map out your content, make sure you don't have any overlaps, you start to cannibalize and all that kind of stuff, and topical clustering. There's videos on all of this stuff on the channel, so you can do that, but I would be giving yourself more than 2 months to have a successful blog, that's for sure. You know, I've had a blog for 5 years and it's still nowhere near where I want it to be because I don't have the time to do it all. So time is the killer. You know, my blog is okay, but there's guys out there absolutely killing me in terms of their blogs. So, you know, I'm on videos, I do different things, so I don't have time to write all day. So it all comes down to time and effort and not burning myself out. So, you know, maybe in 10 years' time, I'll look at my blog and I'll have thousands of articles and I'll say, you know, that I'm happy with that blog. But to do that all in 2 months, it's just not going to happen, man. Not a real blog anyway. Holly is saying, I think with Black Hat stuff, you need to be prepared to move everything offshore. I just recently had a news company trolling me and I've had to move 700 news sites offshore. I actually seen something about that last night, Holly, you talking about it. And I think a lot of people see these Black Hat things and think that it all works forevermore and there are no underlying issues with it. And you know, someone's clearly got it in for you and trolling you and you know you have to do this and that. So Black Hat is not always easy to do. There's a lot of little quirks there, as Holly's saying, and you know, that's part of the learning curve and part of the game, and Holly's adapting to that, and there are things across the way that she has to overcome. But also, to whoever else was talking about black hat stuff, Holly has been kicked in I can't say the nuts, but Holly has been kicked all over the place. You know, I think the story goes that Holly spoke at Chiang Mai one year, and she was talking about her YouTube stuff. And by the time Holly left Chiang Mai and was on a flight for 24 hours going back to America, by the time she landed in America, literally hundreds of thousands of her assets were just wiped out, because she'd publicly spoken about them, or they get caught out, or whatever it was, and she probably lost thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds worth of stuff. And that's a risk that Holly takes. So be prepared, guys, because it can backfire. And as I say, blow up in your face. The job is to try and avoid leaving footprints. And the job is also, when someone asks me about YouTube, what about this trick or what about that trick, there's certain tricks I just can't disclose because they'll get patched up, and I want to exploit them for a bit more, which is why sometimes people like myself or Holly or anyone else out there have to be careful in terms of what you say as well, and try and play carefully. So it's not all that easy. What is the best black hat technique for event blogging? I've no idea what you mean by event blogging, to be honest. What kind of events? Let me know what kind of events you're doing. Can you not take events from an RSS feed, spin that content up, steal content, whatever? You know, that would be one of the things you could do. But it depends on what you mean by event blogging. Let me know. Video it. How much time you wait before sending links to a brand new affiliate website? There's no time where you have to start sending links after 30 days or whatever. You know, what I'd do is build, typically when I've got a new website, build some citations if I want to do some GMB stuff, build up some power anyway, load it up with content. But this is all a gradual process. You know, I don't hold off to say, right, after 45 days, we can start building links. I'm going to go out there and get foundational links straight away, you know, your market watch and whatever, just to get some power and stuff to that domain name. So get all of those quick, easy links that you can get, you know, whether that's generic business listings, whether that's generic guest posts, and then start to get a bit of power and then start to focus more on relevance. But start from the get-go. If you've got budget to do it now, then grab what you can now. There is no period of time where you need to wait before you start sending links. Get it done now. Make it part of the process whilst you're loading up your content and everything else. Kazoo, I agree. I use Facebook lookalike audience for e-com websites, and it's really powerful. Kazoo, that's the thing. A lot of people just think boosting a Facebook post is Facebook ads. They don't realize that there are, you know, you can use your pixel to target people who've been in your website. You can use lookalike audiences and everything else. So the targeting on Facebook is bloody insane. You can literally drop your product or your service right into the laps of people who are looking for what you Guys, sorry, I somehow cut off. I'm not sure what happened there. But what I was saying is that I'm not sure why you can see two of me. Hopefully that other one drops out. Yeah. So Facebook lookalike audiences are very, very powerful. So do exploit that for everything you can. A lot of people think boosting a Facebook post is all that you need to do. There's a lot more targeting. You can literally drop whatever you want right into someone's lap who's interested in what you've got to say, so or what you provide. So make sure that you do exploit Facebook for the full in-depth functionality that they've got, because it's so powerful, it's unreal. And I think people certainly don't understand the full ins and outs of what you can do with that. So exploit that. Paul, good to see you. Hope the heat is okay. I don't drink anymore, man. So although I've been celebrating, I am not suffering from the effects of alcohol. But thank you for your concern. I'm too old to drink now. That's the truth of it, man. I just can't be fucked. But hopefully that changes when I get back out and seeing people. People can convince me to drink. But keyword research tools, anything you know that beats SEMrush in Africa. I haven't looked, is the honest answer, Paul. There could very well be. Personally, just not operating the African niche or in that country. I've never had the need to look for it. But I would hope that a country the size of Africa would have something. Often think countries like Africa and various other countries just often get forgotten about by some of the bigger tools, and the data is just garbage. So I would hope that someone's taking advantage of that. But off the top of my head, Paul, I do not know. But if anyone else in the chat does know, please let us know so we can help another person out. If anyone here in Africa knows of a SEMrush similar tool for keyword research, let us know. Lisa, I will look at the local SEO playlist. Yes, do check it out. And there's a lot of good information on there, and it's not all just coming from me. Brad and Mike and Chris Palmer are big on that stuff as well, and that's what it's all about. Kazu, about schema. So you're looking for a plugin to help you with the JSON file. I have tried plugins. I've tried WordLift. I've tried numerous plugins. I've probably tried about 5 different schema plugins, and I'll be 100% honest with you. It doesn't do a great job. The plugins, there's always something broken somewhere along the lines. I think the only way for now, what I would say is check out Clint Butler. I think Clint Butler has a course on schema. Now, I've not checked this course out, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I'm not sure if there's a plugin or a quicker way to do it. But for me just now, I've been manually adding schema to the website. I just don't think you can beat that. Now, my concern is I've done schema on my About Me page and my home page and various other pages that are important to me, but I'd also love to add schema across the 400 plus blog posts that I've got, and I just don't have time to do it. And as I say, I've had these plugins, WordLift and stuff like that, and they've worked to a certain degree, but there's always something that blows up or something that goes wrong, which is why I've taken them back off. And yeah, so I've not found a solution to that myself, unfortunately, that is successful. I think manually doing it is the best way for now, unless you can go to Clint Butler and check out if he's got something that works a lot better. But yeah, I'm just doing it the manual way. I have no clever trick for that at the moment. As I say, tried those other plugins, and some of them have actually broke certain parts of my website and stuff as well. So that's why I just whipped them all off again, and I'm going to do it manually from now until I can categorically see a plugin that does this very, very well. So yeah. Tamjin, starting local SEO in 2021, is it a good decision or bad? Let you answer this question, Tamjin. Now, there is so much volume from local SEO that are you going to let your competition run away with all of that traffic? That's your answer. Whilst that works and while there's traffic from it, doesn't matter what year it is. You know, local SEO has been around for a good number of years now, but it's still a massively untapped market depending on where you're located and also where, you know, in what niche you're in. Of course, the the successful people have dominated in America for years and years and years. When I look at local SEO, even in the UK, it's garbage. Just garbage. It's embarrassing that people are not taking more advantage of it. So I think it's a perfect time to start. I do not think you're anywhere far behind. There's always a gap there, and fill your boots with that money. If you don't, then you're letting someone else have that opportunity. So take your pick. I certainly know what I would be doing, that's for sure. Pravikar, thanks for coming along. All is good here. Genius blogging. Isonapic. Jude McLean. Pointless hypothetical, but do you ever see anyone coming to challenge Amazon or Google's dominance? It's very hard. I'd love to. Listen, I would love to see someone challenge them. There's nothing worse than seeing Amazon, crushing all the small businesses that it has done, and just, dominating. But I think, the thing for Amazon is they do offer a great service, and, sometimes you get stuff the same day and stuff like that. And I think people are just now accustomed to that. And if you can't beat that, then you're screwed. So, I think, Amazon came in and swooped up the market whilst no one else was, and done a great job of it. And I don't know if anyone would ever have enough money to compete on that level, because even now, when I order Amazon stuff, it very rarely comes wrong. I think just the whole systemization, the whole process is pretty slick, if I'm being honest. So not sure anyone beating Amazon, and Google to some degree are pretty slick, to be fair, and probably have the market share. There's talk of Apple bringing out a search engine and stuff like that. Would it be good to have a bit of competition? I think so. But Google have just got outrageous amounts of money now that they can just crush anyone that comes anywhere close to them. So I think with Amazon and Google, there came a period of time in life where there was a gap in the market, and these guys have exploited it to the point where the billions and trillions or whatever these guys make, it's just going to be hard to compete with now. They're just scaled up in such a way and systemized their whole thing in such a way that no one can compete, man. That's my opinion, but hopefully there is a bit more competition. We shall see in due course. Jude McLean, best place to look for a mentor? Traffic Think Tank, networking. Traffic Think Tank, great bunch of guys there. I've actually been in that group before myself. So a lot of good content and stuff like that. Networking is also a great thing. You need to find someone, Jude, though. Traffic Think Tank, you're going to go on there. Is the guys there going to mentor you personally? I'm not sure if they're too busy for that kind of thing. I think networking or finding someone that you think would be a good mentor for you, someone with the right credentials, someone, because someone's good at SEO doesn't mean they're going to be a good mentor. What I'd be looking for in a mentor is someone that's prepared to talk straight, boot your arse at times, lay it on the line. They're not there to mollycoddle you or handhold you. They're there to mentor you and get the best out of you. And not every great SEO is going to be a great mentor, because they might let you away with murder. They might just not be on the ball in terms of kicking your ass. They might feel awkward about kicking your ass, whatever. People that I've personally mentored in the past, I've had proper fights, not fights physically, proper arguments with, just to get points across and to motivate them and to do different things. And I think that it's not just about their abilities as a digital marketer. They also have got to have the kind of right personality and the right headspace. And I'm pretty sure, looking around of all the people out there, that, I think you've got to network. You've got to find someone that you can actually have a conversation with. There's, someone who's maybe got the same morals and kind of drive as you. Try and find someone that you look up to and you like, and you're like, man, like, I like their personality. I like their way of doing things. I like the way they do this, that, the next thing. I think that would work out better for you. So there's nothing worse than going to a mentor and you feel like they're far better than you, and you can't have a conversation with them, and they're maybe a bit arrogant and whatever, because all of that stuff's not going to give you the best mentoring. You need someone that you can bounce off of and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what I'd be looking for in a mentor, and someone that's also prepared to give you some maybe I'm not saying a bollocking, but people that I've either mentored or whatever, I've had to have a pop at them and call them out and say, this is shit, what is this, and stuff like that. And some people just don't like doing that. And as I say, I've also with Lisa Graves here, Lisa came to me for training, not mentoring as such, but training. And I had to probably have some tough conversations with Lisa over the time, not to be bad, just so that things sunk in her head. She probably thought I was a bit abrupt at times. She thought I was maybe not answering her as much. And, Lisa, so let me use Lisa as an example. So Lisa came to me for training. She was then she would want to run every minor decision past me, like, can you check this title tag? What if this? What if that? Should I do this? Should I do that? She wasn't then thinking for herself. So I had to kind of cut that off and stop that from happening. Otherwise, she would never start to think for herself. And she probably went, what a bastard he is. But you've sometimes got to be cruel to be kind to people. And I've got my own way, and it might not be the right way. But, and everyone's got their own way, and you need to figure out who's got that way that can work for you. But networking, whatever, I can't even remember how I met Lisa. I know where I first met her. I met her in London, in the Shard. I can't remember how we came to speak. I think it was just like networking or whatever. Then she came to Brighton SEO, hung out with a crowd of people that I was with. She met with more people. And then we had a bit of a relationship before she then said, can I come up to you for training for a week? So that networking thing is a great thing to do as well. I think trying to understand what the person's like and seeing if they're a good fit for you. And as I say, a year or so down the line, I'm still Lisa's friend. We're still on good terms. And she had some good success along the way. So I think that was a job well done. So I think you just have to find the right fit for you as a person, and Lisa can take my crap as well. So it worked out well. So it was all good. Hopefully that helps you, Jude. How to get clients for SEO? I think case studies and putting yourself out there in groups and not cold emailing, not doing all that kind of stuff is certainly the one of the best ways you can do that. And get on videos, podcasts, whatever. Show people examples of what you can do, and people will be interested. How can I prove the caching on my websites? WP Rocket is the best plugin. Try that out. So you want to do that. WP Rocket's my personal choice. That's what I would be advising you. There you go. Oh, it went offline. Twins, that was fun. I'm the same. Just going through all the messages. A continent. Yes, you are right, outsourcing boss. It is a continent made up of many countries, but you know what I mean. Jude McLean, what type of metrics do you look for when choosing an affiliate offer? And do you start with niche or the offer? I would be looking for a niche. I'm looking for something that's scalable search volume, and all of that kind of stuff. I'm looking at something that's not seasonal, something that's not oversaturated. So there's a number of things I take into consideration. And I think I've got a video on picking the right niche and some of the mistakes that I've made as well. You have to do research, not just in the niche and the keyword research, but understand the business model as well, because I jumped into the e-cigarette niche and didn't understand the legality side of it. So I couldn't do Facebook ads, I couldn't do Google ads, couldn't do anything to help aid my SEO. And I was also struggling to get payment providers to take payments for the e-cigarette business. So I jumped into a niche, tried to rank a website, and then came across all of these kind of stumbling blocks. So understand all of that stuff before you waste time. Holly, do you go to the conference SEO Brighton? I'm thinking about coming over the pond to that one in the summer. I heard it's pretty white hat and mainstream though. So Holly, it's a good conference in terms of networking and stuff, but it is pretty white hat. Not sure if I've ever told you about the trouble that we get into. Me and Charles Float were at Brighton SEO, and people were literally walking about fucking trying to fight with us and all that because we were black hat. You know, that is the type of crap you get there. I do not think you would personally benefit at all in any way by going to Brighton. Even in terms of selling what you do, Holly, I do not think that audience is a good fit for you. I go to it as a piss up with my mates. I would never, I've spoken at it a few years back. I would never speak there again, and I certainly wouldn't be going to learn anything from that conference, because it is pretty much a white hat conference. It's not what we do, but it's a great day out. Listen, you get a good laugh at it, and a lot of people go to it. So in terms of networking and catching up with Jonathan Kickbush, is obviously based in Brighton, and Dooley and all these kind of people, they all go to it. And we normally actually go to Jonathan Kickbush's office, and then we go out for dinner with Jonathan as well. Jonathan has this SEO Butler thing on the Thursday, and that's where we go. Some people that go there I don't even think Jonathan sets foot in Brighton SEO, the conference itself. So as I say, nothing against Brighton SEO, the conference itself. It's just the information and all that kind of stuff is just not what you're going to be looking for, Holly. So and it's not your type of audience. So I don't think you would do well doing that. But obviously come along for a beer and all that stuff. It's always good. But that's just my honest opinion on it. AK Amit, what type of link should I build to a new website? Do you have any link building roadmap? And when is the best time to go full on link building? You can go full on as and when your budget dictates. I do have a link building playlist on this channel, so you can go through all of that, and it's got all the different types of link building you can do. Some white hat, some middle of the road, and some outrageous stuff. Have a look at the link building playlist, and you'll be able to see all the stuff on there. Bing tried exactly, and Bing have tried. Sam Fitzgerald, I'm trying to rank local pages in areas for construction. I'm competing against high authority websites like Checkatrade and My Builder. Yes, it's very easy to beat them because these guys are not actually targeting your area specifically for your keywords. They're just quite powerful websites. But yeah, with a local website with even basic SEO, you should very comfortably be able to beat them. And also just grab all the GMBs and stuff in that area. Just do a bit of GMB spam. So there you go. So I'm trying to go through all of these. So romantic from Lisa. NFG monthly is the closest I've found to true membership. Just watching Craig and Chris Palmer's and Holly's content. So there you go. I get traffic from Google. Come Holly. Chad Hamilton, no problem, mate. Outsourcing boss. Brighton SEO was good at the start. It was, and it still is to some degree, just for a piss up. But yeah, Lisa Gray's also saying, I don't think Holly would like it. Holly, good to know. PubCon was better, but not been to that in 15 years. Believe me, PubCon is pretty much like Brighton SEO. I went to PubCon last year and I fucking left after 5 minutes. It was shite. The event itself was good and hang around at the hotel and all that. But the speakers, the level of information we're given and it just was garbage. Let's be honest. I was going to go to Jonathan's thing. That's always a good laugh, actually. The Jonathan's mastermind. Looking for a few UK conferences. You're coming to ours, SEO Underground, Holly. Don't forget that. Think Visibility. SEO conference in Leeds was the best one in my view. I've not even heard of that one. I've been to another one called Search Leeds. I think I spoke there a few years ago. Again, was pretty white hat. Outsourcing boss is saying that the Think Visibility one's no longer on. I don't think that one is. didn't manage to attend that one myself. But I think a lot of the conferences now, in particular in the UK, are pretty much corporate stuff and and take payments. A lot of the speakers are paying to speak, which I would never do. I'm not going to give away my advice, my tips, and pay for the privilege of doing that. Absolutely not. SEO Underground's on in the 25th of November. It's going to be Newmarket Racecourse. And stuff like that. And yeah, 25th of November, SEO Underground is on, and it's going to be pretty much black hat stuff. We're going to have Holly Starks, hopefully Chris Palmer, myself, and several other speakers to be speaking at that event. And it's going to be what I was saying about the UK conferences. They're trying to get more and more speakers up, less and less speaking slots, less and less speaking time for speakers. So you've got 20 minutes to deliver something, and it's quite hard to deliver anything in 20 minutes. And I think because they're charging for slots and all that kind of stuff, I think a lot of the conferences do that really badly. Whereas they should focus more on the quality. Because I could listen to someone like Holly Starks, for example. Charles had a good one on Holly, and I think we only had 5 speakers or something at Charles's event. Was it 5? I can't remember. I think me, James Gregory, Jack Vivian, Charles, someone else spoke. There wasn't a huge amount, but I like the kind of less speakers, more time to talk, because you can deliver stuff. And as I say, I can listen to people at Holly Starks talk all day long. There's just so much you can get into and tell and all that kind of stuff. So rather than listen to Holly Starks for 20 minutes and she's rushed off and she's not really delivered anything, that's where I think a lot of conferences go wrong. So I think that's what we need to do, is less speakers, better people, and get along to that one outsourcing boss, because I think that type of conference is where the money's at. And as I say, it's not going to be black hat, everything shady as hell. There's going to be good stuff in there as well. But I think a lot of conferences, they don't want you to talk about black hat stuff because their sponsors may be offended or whatever. But what the firming, these conferences, if you're talking about Brighton SEO and stuff, they're mainly aimed at agencies, and a lot of them are rookie staff members who are going to learn the basics at these conferences. And I think they're great for that. But for me, who's experienced, I want a Holly Starks to be showing me some mad shit, with her phones or whatever the hell she's doing. That's where I'm going to get value. And that's what a lot of the conferences don't deliver to people like me who are experienced or think they're experienced or whatever. SEOunderground.co.uk. The tickets are getting released this month. Paul, you need to add in a day for a paid mastermind. Don't worry, Holly, we are going to be doing that. He just doesn't know it yet. But yeah, I think Dooley and all of this kind of stuff are all wanting a paid mastermind. And we can go down. I'm happy to go down there for the week, the day, 3 days, whatever. We can organise a paid mastermind as well, because I think there's going to be a lot of value and a lot more people interested in that as well. So we will be getting that sorted. We're just not really confirmed a lot of stuff purely because of this pandemic, but hopefully we are out of it in the UK very soon, and we can get those tickets released. And that's why we've not really announced too many speakers, because we don't even know if Holly can actually get here. Fingers crossed. That's why it was actually supposed to be in June, and Paul put it back to November just to give this conference the full opportunity of being on, because I'm desperate to get out and about, as I'm sure you are, Holly, and everyone else, just dying to go out and have a beer with these people. So check out SEOunderground.co.uk for anyone who's interested in coming. It will be a good conference with amazing people. But on that note, I am going to let you guys go, because I've been on for 1 hour and 10 minutes. My throat's starting to hurt. I'm needing my afternoon siesta and all that stuff. But thank you very much for everyone coming along. Check out SEOunderground.co.uk. We also have Holly Starks and Randy Roday on my live show with Chris Palmer on Wednesday. I'm also back tomorrow with Mike Pierce and Brad Maybury for a question and answer session. And I think I'm also in Sam Rush tomorrow at some point as well, and talking about affiliate marketing. So if you guys are interested in any of that stuff, then do feel free to join us. And Holly is saying there's no way she's staying here for another year. She needs to escape the wife. She needs a reason to escape. So let's give her one, Mr. Government, and let us get out of lockdown. But on that note, thank you, everyone, and I will catch you all later in the week. Cheers, guys.